morning. I am going to do some guidance work from Project 369. I'm having a really hard day. I had a really hard day yesterday, and it just really helps me, and so hopefully it will help you too. I know I've already done the angel signs, but I want to start with the angel signs because I use them as guidance. Some people use them, just as a kind of a fun thing to think about, but for me, they guide me. Like when I see certain sequences of numbers, I know the meaning of it, and it helps me know where I'm at in my world, in my awakening, in my life, in myself, in my I am. And so that's what I wanted to do today. Hey Sarah, how are you this morning? I'm having kind of a rough morning, so I thought I would try to start out with some positive. So angel signs, and this is all from Project 369, the Key of the Universe. Angel signs are symbolic in the form of numerical repetition. One can be found by seeing the numbers 1111, 1111, 111, 222, 333, and 444, and all the way up to 9. And the sequences are one number, so 5, or 555, or 5555. So those are the sequences of actual angel signs, and I use them every day, but on days that I'm really struggling, like with confidence or just who I am and where I belong, I use them as guidance. So if I see zeros in any of those sequences, it means infinity and transformation, a new beginning. And if I see ones, I know that it's a reminder that what I want is already mine. If I see twos, I know that I have balance and divine harmony in my life, but I also know that either everything is aligned or I need to realign and prioritize. And that can be a lot of the times for me. I struggle with that one because I feel aligned, and then I'll see that number, and then I check myself, like, am I really fully aligned? And then I'll meditate, make sure everything's all lined up, my chakras, and, try to get back to alignment if I'm not. And usually I can tell if I'm back. Fours are a reminder to let divine timing do its work. So those of you out there who are learning and manifesting and, talking to spirit, just remember, when you see fours, remember that what you want is already yours, but it's all in divine timing. So if I manifest, love, that doesn't mean I'm going to experience it right now. Or if I manifest, selling a painting, I could sell one today, I could sell one in a few days. And manifesting is very different than what I learned previously, so I'll also talk about that. If you see threes, spiritual completion, you are fully aligned with your spiritual purpose, and you will be rewarded accordingly. And I feel that a lot because I feel fully aligned with my purpose. Where I struggle is with my grief and, just life happening, is having the confidence to follow through with my purpose, which, again, I know what it is, but having the confidence to follow through is a whole different vibration that I need to find. Fives, doors of opportunity are presenting themselves. I love seeing fives in a sequence because I'll start looking more intentionally for what's offered. Like if there's an art competition or a writing competition or something going on, seeing fives make me realize, okay, I need to take that door of opportunity. I need to go through that door. 6, take your attention away from your outer world, and this is probably one of the most important things because we get caught up in things, and our outer world is our conditioned world. So being caught up in that is not going to help us in any way. You need to go inside to your inner world, and that's where creation, beliefs, and all the manifesting happens. And even experiencing different dimensions, which, if you don't understand dimensions, it's not somewhere you go. It's a state of mind, a vibration that you experience just right here. Like right now, I could be in the 5th dimension, I could be in the 7th dimension, but I'm in the 3rd dimension right now. I can tell when I've changed vibrations. My vibration is not, right now is not, I don't know if I want to say high or low, but it's not where it needs to be. And I'm trying to raise it. I'm trying to change it. Change it is the better word. So 7s mean your alignment is being acknowledged. So if you see sequences of 7s, that means Source is acknowledging your hard work, your alignment, your all the things. It's being acknowledged, and that's an amazing feeling. It really is, because awakening is no easy thing. That's for sure. Yes, Sarah, I agree 100%. You know, it feels good to know that all of your hard spiritual work pays off. And it does. It really does. And we can get caught up in these issues and problems in the world, and you know, that's where I struggle the most, I think. You know, I grieve, I miss my daughter, whatever it may be. It gets me feeling like I'm a little bit stuck, but I'm not. I'm grieving for my daughter, even though I know she's fulfilled her contract for this life. I still miss her, and I still grieve, and I still struggle with just other things, you know, life. We all do. 8s are a fun one. If you see sequences of 8, 888, or 8888, abundance is entering your life in various forms. So a lot of people will take that as wealth. Wealth would be great, but it could be in any form. Abundance of love, abundance of you know, just different feelings and emotions. And yes, abundance of wealth, abundance of money, finances. And I always, when I manifest that, I always make sure to manifest, you know, financial freedom and generosity, because I don't want to have financial freedom and be comfortable financially if I'm not a generous person. Like, that feels like a dangerous zone for me. I like to give and share and help, and so when I do manifest money, which I have to tell you, I don't do it often, but when I do, every single time I've done my morning meditation and done the whole, you know, meditating, breathing, I am affirmations, and manifest money, I sell a painting. And that's, you know, maybe been 6 times over the last, you know, 6 months, but it's every single time. So I'm going to do it today and see what comes, and then I'll share it with you guys. 9s, rebirth, the beginning of a new life. And that can be that you've shed your human side more and you're becoming the light being that you are. And that's encouraging. So that's why I use this as an actual guide. You know, I see these numbers, and it truly tells me what path I'm on. And then I know which direction to go next, you know. And I've also learned to quiet my mind when I meditate, see nothing but black. And when I do that, and if I do it right, I can get messages, what some people call downloads. And I haven't been in a very good place to get those messages lately. My world is up and down with this grief, with this move, with Jill, you know, just so many things. And so my spirituality wavers, and I hate that. I hate it so much. You know, I wish I could just be so strong and stay on top of everything. But it wavers, you know, whether we're light beings and part of the source or not, we're still experiencing a human experience, and that's difficult, to say the least. You know, depending on what contract you signed. I signed kind of a shitty contract, but I signed it consciously before I was born. And so how can I argue that? How can I argue that if I am... Hi, Kathy. How are you? Thank you for the follows. I appreciate it. I truly, as you can see by this book, I keep telling people, I would like to loan it out to people who can't afford to buy one, but it's so fucked up because I use it so much, and there's so much, like, personal writing in here. It's an interactive book. So that's on angel numbers. The significance of 3, 6, and 9. So 3, 6, and 9... I don't know if this would be very easy to explain on here. Let's see, it's got a lot of these. It just teaches you sacred geometry. It teaches you numerology. It teaches you all the things that help in your awakening. Like, I'm not going to ever pretend that I'm fully woke. I have not been able to get my third eye open. And I was told that when you stop trying so hard and you stop wanting it so bad, that's when it happens. So that's the state I'm in. I'm trying to consciously do things to be able to see these other dimensions and see truth that I so badly need to see as a mother, as a mother to Colette, as a mother to Holly and Jill, and as a partner, to Randon. Like, I fail so much, and it's just messy. Being a human is messy. And knowing that I'm the light being that I am, sometimes it really helps, and sometimes my human mind can't comprehend it. I know it to be my absolute truth. And like I've said before on here, this is the only book, the only words, the only language I've ever read that resonated with me so much that this is my word. Like, this is what I teach now. And they have little things in here, and I'm going to read a few of them. So this page says 1111. I move past all doubts and limitations. I manifest what I want on a quantum level. I know who I am. I know where I'm going. I surround myself with people who bring out the best in me. And I always bring out the best in myself. I don't need anything outside of me. I am connected to the endless abundance of the universe. So I bring out the best in myself. There was a point where things were so hard for me, and with my borderline, I felt unloved by my family, by everyone, which isn't real all the time. It's a lot of my borderline. But I realized that as a human, I need love to survive. Literally, I need love to survive. We all do. And I don't have a lot of people. I have my best friend, Elisa. I have my friend, Mercy. I have my friend, Jess. I have some friends that I talk to. Michael, my friend Michael. I have some friends that I talk to. They all are very great and understand that I have down times, and, sometimes they don't hear from me for a week because I'm just struggling so bad. But, so I'm pretty alone. I'm pretty alone raising my daughter, and my partner works all the time, and if we're in an argument or something, I'm really alone. And so I learned this lesson in, several months ago. If I don't love myself and pick myself up and follow my heart, my values, my beliefs, and the creations that I create, then I really won't make it. Like, I really won't make it. I have to love myself enough to carry not only myself, but me and Jill. And that is very difficult for someone who has hated herself her whole entire life, blamed herself her whole entire life. So much trauma, so much death, so much mistakes that I've made in this life. But whatever they were, that's what I signed on for. It's just what I signed on for. And that's really everything that I come back to. I come back to, I signed on for this. I can love myself, carry myself and my daughter through it. Or I can be, high vibe king. I can be completely alone, miserable, feel unloved, and not, thank you, not make it. You know, and who would make it? Who would make it in this circumstance? Well, I'm going to fucking make it, that's for sure. Because I have this little miracle baby who was born when she shouldn't have been. And I love her, and she's my responsibility, and she's guided me in a lot of ways. Like I said, if you go to my YouTube channel, which is Felonies and Poppy Seeds, I do a whole talk on my daughter, Jill, and then a whole talk on my borderline. There's a lot of different things. It's pretty new, so I don't have like 100 posts or anything out there, but I think I have like maybe 25 or 30. Clean for 4 years. Congratulations. That's fucking amazing. Sober, clean, and sober. Yep. That's awesome. I'm going up on 11 years. And Poppy stuff. So Poppy is my daughter that died. So I'm not sure if we're missing each other on that word or if I'm misunderstanding you. But my daughter's name was Poppy, that my abuser killed. And that's when I actually went out on my heroin run, is after she died. That was my second loss of a child, and I just couldn't take it. I went out on the streets and did heroin for 5 years and tried to die. And so this time around, I'm grieving completely sober, and it is an experience, let me tell you what. I never thought it would be something that I could do. You know, when Poppy died, I used to go to her grave just all, you know, nodding out. And, yes, and you have borderline too. So have you seen my borderline? I think I have a couple on my YouTube channel. And like I said, it's Felonies and Poppy Seeds with no spaces. And my borderline talk turned out really well. And it explains, you know, how I was able to come out of my identity crisis, which I had my whole life from borderline and confusion, not even knowing I had borderline until I was an adult, but I really had it as a young child, you know. So let's see, this one says 777. I am always able to express myself in the best possible way. I align my thoughts with my desires so that my cells thrive in my body and unleash my higher self. So this one I need to remember. I align my thoughts with my desires so that my cells thrive in my body and unleash my higher self. I live each day filled with energy. I fill my heart with love, appreciation, and gratitude so my cells will feel the well-being and vibrancy of who I truly am. I am proud of myself for being who I am and for all of my success. So basically, when your thoughts are, I hate myself, you know, I'm not worth anything, I'm not worthy, I'm a piece of shit, you know, your cells believe that because that's all they know. And so when you change that language or that thought, the language in your head, your cells adapt to that. So whether you feel it or not, you know, everybody's against the old saying, fake it till you make it, but it's not wrong. Like, nothing's wrong, you know, it's just how you put it into context. So if I'm feeling self-hatred, which I feel a lot, you know, I was beaten for 7 years and I buried 3 fucking children. I beat myself up a lot. But if I keep telling myself in my head or spoken out loud in language that I love myself, that I'm worthy, that I'm good, that I deserve my desires, and my imagination creates what I want to live, what I desire to live, and I start saying that, writing it, believing it, that's what my cells will adapt to. They'll forget the many years of self-hatred, and they'll start to change, like science, physically. And that's true. And when I can combine science with philosophy and spirituality, like how can that not be my answer? Oh, you're so welcome, and thank you for being here. Um, yeah, so I can't really put a link, but on Facebook, or on TikTok, on my thing, I think there's several links, and then if you go to my Facebook, um, just Missy Lynn, that's just my personal Facebook. There's also links to my YouTube, and then, yeah, here on TikTok. But it's just Felonies and Poppy Seeds, and there's a lot of good stuff. I talk on there. I have a talk about my daughter who's 7, and until she was 6, she remembered all of her past lives, and it was really intense. And she taught me when she was 2 or 3 about these contracts that we signed before we're born, and I didn't know what she was talking about because I didn't start learning this stuff until about 3 years ago. But 3 years before I started learning this stuff, my 2-year-old told me that her and my daughter Poppy, who she never met, Poppy died 7 years before Jill was conceived, but she told me she was 2 years old, that her and Poppy just sat up wherever. I don't remember how she described where she was. She just said she was with Poppy somewhere, and Poppy told her she should go into my tummy so I wouldn't be alone. And I gotta tell you, at the time I was like, I don't even know how to react to this, but if I think about all of the details around Jill's birth, so I was 38. I had been raped by my abuser, sorry, trigger warning, after I gave birth to Poppy, and I hemorrhaged, and I was in the hospital, and there was a lot of damage done, and I wasn't allowed or able to conceive or carry children after that. And I'd had a couple partners in between, had sex, never got pregnant, never worried about it because doctors told me, and I was there. I hemorrhaged until I almost bled out, like they were going to give me a blood transfusion. And they ended up doing some work down there and told me, you cannot conceive anymore, it's like over. And I was okay with that because I'd experienced one death already, and I was in this horrific abusive relationship, and I don't even like to call it abusive because it was psychotic. Like, this man was psychotic. He killed my daughter. He killed Poppy. So anyways, I have to work on keeping those positive affirmations and thoughts going. Even vowel sounds, if you look up on YouTube, language and creation and all the things, the ultimate tool that we use for creation is words, spoken words. So if we're walking around our house all day saying, fuck this, fuck that, this sucks, I hate this, and da-da-da-da-da, that's our reality. If we walk around the house all day saying love, happiness, gratitude, I'm grateful for, even if you're just spouting out them word by word, that puts that word in the universe, and your cells hear it, your body hears it, the universe hears it, our surroundings. So I try to walk around my house and say these words, and the vowel sounds are especially important. The a, e, I, o, u, u, and then there's a couple other ones I'll have to look up. But those sounds are spiritual sounds that go out into the universe, and they literally change your environment in that moment. So, like, if my little one's having a hard time, I'll be like, A, E, I, I'll sing it to her. And I feel, and Jill and I are both really strong empaths, so I feel the change. And I need to look up for you guys and write it down what the different vowel sounds do. One of them sparks creativity, one of them sparks like a joyful, blissful feeling. They all have different things that they do. So even when you're using words like love, that has a strong vowel sound in it. And that brings that resonance into your world. So those are the things that I hang on to while I'm grieving, struggling. Life is hard and painful. It's not hard to say A-E-I-O-U, throughout the day, out loud. It's not hard to say, I am good. I love Missy. I love Jill. I'm a good mom. I'm a good person. I have good intentions. Even if you don't feel them, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciated it. All this was found out of pure desperation. Truthfully, when Colette died, my third child, my oldest, my firstborn, my best friend, it was the hardest one out of all three. I spent 27 years with her, and if you've seen pictures, she's my exact twin, and we have such a connection. And, so the fake it till you make it thing, of course I'm faking it till I make it. I just buried my third child. I just moved. Everything's different. My business took a dive when she died. I'm not bringing in finances. Of course I'm fucking faking it. But eventually my cells are going to feel it. And then I'm going to believe it. And I'm going to live it. And there's days that I do. There's days that I'm on top of it. And I'm like, okay, I feel good. I accept things. I accept this new reality. And then there's days I can't. I just can't. But those days I still say use that language, to keep that vibration going in my house, whether I believe it or not. And I don't know if believe's the right word, because I do believe in it, but whether I feel it or not. And if on the days that I'm down and I'm grieving or I'm struggling being a mom or whatever it may be, saying those words, saying those sounds, it's not really even faking it. I'm trying to change my vibration. I'm trying to change my emotions. And words work. How simple is that? How simple is that? That's a beautiful name. And such a strong one. Just say that over and over in such a beautiful tone. It'll give you those changes in your environment. Your daughter's name. All of my kids, all words have vowels in them. Like, I don't think you can have a word with just consonants, right? So my kids were Colette, Holly, Poppy, Ozzy, and Jillian. So all my kids had really strong, vowel sounds in their names as well. And yes, out of desperation, either let yourself sink or you fucking try, and honestly, I would let myself sink. But the universe gave me this little baby that should have never been born. I don't even know how. I swear to God, I'm not pretending to be like Mother Mary, but what the fuck? And I'd already had tests with my gynecologist. I didn't have a lot of female hormone left. I was starting premenopause at such a young age. And so not only was I not able to conceive and carry children, I had started menopause. I hadn't had a period in 2 months, maybe it was just one, before I conceived her, which is why I didn't know I was pregnant until I was 5 months pregnant, because that was my last guess out of everything in the whole world, is that I was pregnant, and then of course I had to be a geriatric patient because I was so old, and 45 with a 7-year-old, and there was a reason for that, because when Colette died, I would have gone off back to heroin, and I would have died. Because why not? I've buried 3 children. Why the fuck not? Well, because Jill. Because Jill was conceived. And this is my one chance to raise a child without drug use, violence in the house, and all the other issues that I had, you know? And now I'm Missy. I'm me. I am. I am. And bad day or good day, I believe that. And see it put a smile on my face. I am. I am part of the source. I can create as the source. You just have to know how. You know, a lot of people manifest and it's just thoughts, you know, like I want a new car, I want a new car, I want a new car, I want a new car. And one thing I've learned is that it will always keep you there. It will keep you at I want. You will always want a new car because that's what you manifested, wanting a new car. Manifesting works in the way of picturing it from beginning to end. So let's say I want to manifest just having a good day, you know, not having a breakdown, missing my children, you know, feeling like why, you know, that why 3 kids, why am I a mother that is shaky and 90 pounds and, you know, just why? It doesn't matter because I am. And it's one of my experiences out of so many. You know, I don't know what I used to be. I don't know who I used to be. There are ways to remember your old lives. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I'm sitting on a stairway. This book, Spirited by Rebecca Rosen, and then the Project 369, The Key to the Universe, they teach you how to do that, how to, in the midst of, you know, the worst moment of your life, how to understand I am, and how to remember who you were in your past lives. There's very specific meditations and words and language that help you. And it was so strange, and I don't know because it's never happened before, but the other night I was meditating in bed. My partner was watching TV. You know, I put my headphones on, and I just got into this really deep meditation, and, you know, I heard no sound, just black. And then all of a sudden I had this vision, like this movie in front of me, and it was me. I was there, but I wasn't me. I was an older woman, and I was heavier weight, like quite a bit heavier, and there were 6 kids around me, and they were all smiling, and I knew somehow those were my grandchildren, and they were mostly boys, and I think there might have been a girl, but I can't remember. After I saw this vision, this movie, I jumped up to write it down, and literally every step I took to get to my notebook, I was forgetting more and more, and it frustrated me so much. So now I sleep with a notebook right beside me. But it was like a glimpse of something, and it was not from, you know, my last life. I don't think it looked like old, like I was wearing some kind of a skirt, some kind of a blue skirt, and I had something over my head, kind of like I guess. I'm not accepting like talking. I'm not gonna have someone come on right now. I'm sorry, um, but anyway, so I'm running to get my notebook, and as I'm getting it, I'm forgetting. But I remember it was such a strong vision or whatever it was. It felt like it was a memory of a past life. It felt that strong. Like I think I even tripped. My bed is really high off the ground, and I couldn't get there fast enough. But it was like I was handing them candy or something, and we were in a house, and I knew they weren't were my grandkids. I was smiling, they were smiling, and we were happy. I can sort of picture what I looked like, but, I'm going to have to start, like I said, keep my notebook by my bed and draw and write every time I have this, because if I can go into a deep meditation now and I've opened up that portal to see who I used to be in my past lives, I want to write every single one down. And on that note, my whole life, I've always had memories of walking under like hundreds of pink trees, like hundreds of them, not like where I live, we have them here, but it was different. And I mean, I'll take pictures of pink trees, I'll paint them, like they've been in my head my whole life. And I've always thought, that may be a glimpse of something from a past life. And then the only other thing I've had is I've pictured myself or referred to myself quite often over the years as a colored woman. I had dark skin, beautiful dark skin and black hair. And I can't picture my face. I can't picture a time frame. I can't picture anything. I can only picture the skin tone. And sometimes when I picture myself, it's as a black woman. And so those two things are a constant and have been since I was little. But this new vision gives me excitement because, maybe I'll see more. And, maybe it'll help me sort out why I signed this goddamn contract to lose 3 children, to be abused, to just suffer. This has been a suffering lifetime for sure. It's been full of joy and sorrow. I spent Colette and Holly's life in rehab, on the streets, not present. And I have a lot of guilt, and you have to let go of guilt. Like, you have to. Like, I fully understand now how much of a victim I was. And it wasn't up until a few months ago, my partner and I were having a talk one night, and I was playing it off, people have it worse, whatever. And then the way he was speaking to me, I think it was very intentional. I realized how severe my trauma is. I can say I buried 3 children. I was beat by a psychopath for 7 years, held captive. He killed 2 of my children. People have it worse. But if I do that, I'm not accepting and healing from my reality, which was fucking brutal. I don't need to pretend that I wasn't that much of a victim, because I was. And that trauma, that generational trauma, killed 3 of my children. So I will never pretend it wasn't significant again. It was a really rough time, and it still is. I've been grieving my entire life. I'm trying not to say words like this these days, but I'm scared it's going to happen again. And I'm working on putting words out there of my 2 living children staying alive. Like, that's how much fear I live in from my experiences. But I'm so curious, why my inner circle, outer circle, and I sat up there and signed these contracts. Why did Colette sign a contract to die at 27 the way she died? Why did I sign a contract to bury 3 children and be fucked up and gaslighted to the point to where sometimes I feel like people who really love me and are being super genuine are gaslighting me? I'm fucked up. It's hard. But the one simple way to just slowly start changing things are using your language. Just speaking out. Sometimes I'll walk into Jill's room and I'll just say love, gratitude. Just say words, And the more you do it, the more you're going to understand what I'm talking about. And if it's a hard habit to start, put it on sticky notes on your bathroom mirror. And if you do feel alone, and if you are alone, You gotta love yourself. I struggle with it sometimes, but I do love myself because I know that all of the things that I've gone through, my intentions were always in the right place, and they still are. Yes, I believed what my abuser told me. 7 years is a long time to hear horrible things every day. But I'm breaking free of that finally. And this has been since 2008. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. And I'm just now accepting and healing and believing that I really lived through all of that. And somehow I made it. And then there's survivor's guilt. There's just so many fucking layers. There's so many fucking layers. So my advice to you today is to Google angel signs if you don't have the book. Write them down somewhere. Use them as a guide. It helps you kind of navigate, in this human body. Our light beings in this human body. Write down angel signs and use them as a guide, not as a game, but like really, okay, it's telling me I need more alignment. Okay, I'm going to meditate, It's telling me that this source has recognized my hard work, and then you can feel good and happy and celebrate. And then, as you raise your vibration, new things start happening. So I'm already an empath. I'm such an empath that I'm 45 and I still don't have boundaries. It is so fucking hard for me. Someone's energy changes just the slightest, I'm out. I cannot protect my own energy. Jill's an empath too. She's the same way. So if you can imagine Jill and I together, someone's energy changes, we're a wreck. We're a fucking wreck. So that plays into it too. If you're an empath, if you're not, there's so many things that play into this. But the easiest things you can do is write down angel signs, use them as a guide, and start using English language or whatever language you speak. Whatever language you speak. There's vowel sounds and there's certain language, certain words that will change your environment, change your feeling, change your mood, change everything. It's just the easiest way that I know right now, if you're just starting and you're struggling. Language. A-E-I-O-U. I. Love, gratitude, light, happiness, laughter. And then on top of that, there are three things that have to happen before you can go or see or visit or, whatever, another dimension. You have to breathe. You have to eat healthy foods. And most of the time, your body will do that on its own. Like there was a time back, I don't remember when, it's on here somewhere, where all of a sudden I could not eat meat. And I wanted like spinach and kale. And like I was like starving for it. It was insane. But my body did that naturally. And then the third one is laughter. There's hasn't been a lot of laughter in this house since my daughter died. To the point to where my 7-year-old says, Mom, I'm a kid. I want you to tickle me and laugh. You don't laugh. She's not fucking wrong. Rarely is she wrong. She came here with a purpose. And she told me that purpose when she was 2. And how can I not believe that? I wouldn't be alive right now if she wasn't here. She came here with a purpose. So, laughter, healthy eating what your body is asking for, basically. So paying attention, being aware, being conscious of what your body's asking for. If it's asking for meat, give it meat. If it's not, don't. You'll get there. And then sometimes it even gets to a point to where it's not wanting food at all. And you got to do smoothies, and you got to be smart, and you got to take care of yourself. So laughter, breathing. There's so many different techniques of breathing that can also change your vibration. If you don't have this book, look that up as well. They have different names, different ways of holding it, letting it out, doing it fast. There's just different ways that do have different results. Breathing and laughter and eating. Saying language, saying good positive words, sounds, vowel sounds, whatever language you speak. Those are easy enough, right? That's my best advice on starting to get your body to awaken and see the reality we live in. We don't see even half of what's there. There's so much to see. I was watching a podcast last night with Victor Otto, and he's an amazing guy. He's an extreme empath, so I really relate with him. And when his third eye opened, he said it was literally like randomly this light show. He'd try to close his eyes and he'd see neon colors and he'd see all these things happening. And he finally realized, his third eye was open. He was seeing different dimensions, and then you learn how to kind of manage that, because he said at first he was freaked the fuck out, and I've had 2 or 3 experiences where I feel like I had glimpses. I had bright purple color, and I felt this like throbbing, and kind of had a little headache, and I got afraid and I stopped, and that's happened a couple times. So it'll come, it'll come in its own divine timing, and I need to be ready for it. And maybe I know, as I am, that I'm not quite ready for it with my grieving and things that are happening. Maybe I need to be in a better place. Maybe I need to be more aligned. Maybe my chakras need unblocked. There's things that have to happen to be able to get to that point. But yeah, so I just wanted to read some positive things since I'm having such a hard morning, and give some really, really simple steps to begin the awakening process. It's a beautiful way to live, comparative. I mean, you can't even compare it. Living in a material world, worrying about what you look like. I mean, look, like I'm wearing, this is what I slept in. Put on a pair of sweats, put on a sweatshirt, what the fuck ever. Like, that's not why we're here. Commercials just repulse me now. Like how hard they're trying to pull us back in, because they feel the Great Awakening, trust and believe. Like they feel it. Sales have to be down. People are living off the grid. People are quitting their jobs, and I'm not telling you to do that. You have to find your way, because unfortunately in this day and age we do have to have money to survive, or at least money to get the things to last to survive, so it's tricky. You feel like you want to not be a part of that 9-to-5 stress bullshit, because stress literally fucking kills you. It gives you cancer. It does so many horrible things to you, and that's what this world has created. Stress, fear, rushing, late, anxiety, all the things. Those are things that this world has created that when you start awakening, you want to get far away from. One other easy thing is grounding. Go lay on the grass. And if you're meditating, and when you lay on the grass or sit on the grass, imagine growing roots down into the ground. Like you're rooted, you're grounded. You won't believe what that does to your body and to your cells if you are truly in it, not just laying there fucking around. Like really lay there, sit there, root your ground chakra into the ground, feel the roots going in. That's grounding. And if you're meditating and you're having a hard time quieting your mind, literally, if you don't have what I have, like a lot of nature, I live on a lot of acres with forest and just nature everywhere. Grab a fucking house plant. Literally grab a house plant. Put it beside you. Touch it. Feel it. Plants are light beings. So are we. They give us more clarity. So when you're grounding yourself, you're outside or you're in your apartment with a house plant, it will give you more. It will help you. just being in nature, being grounded, and growing roots, grounding, laughter, breath, eating, language. I think those are some pretty simple ways to just start. And don't listen to those people that say fake it till you make it is wrong. It's not. Most of us are so hurt and so torn down and so defeated. We're not going to just all of a sudden love ourselves. If we've lived a life of self-hatred and self-loathing and guilt and grief and shame, you got to have a starting point. And so those are the easiest starting points I can think of. I'll try to make a post that's permanent on here that has just those things that you can do to start. But yeah, my day already feels a little better. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it today. I needed to have a better morning, and hopefully this will turn it around for me. I'm going to go meditate some more. Actually, what I'm going to be doing is meditating, and then I'm going to finish this. So once you become more enlightened and you are able to change vibrations and, feel really grounded, this book is on how to raise your intuition. And if you're an empath, you already have intuition like out the ass. Like, it's difficult. But to not only raise your intuition, but in this book also, it's how to... Thank you, Denise. Thank you very much. That's my life purpose. And it has been since Poppy died, or since I got sober after Poppy died. I was going to kill myself, and I had Colette, Holly, and I couldn't for them. And so I began to write my book, Felonies and Poppy Seeds. And if you go back on my TikTok here, I've read a lot of it, and trigger warning, really big trigger warning. It became my life purpose because when my daughter was killed by my abuser, I was so alone. I was so alone. I was so alone being abused that my daughter died. 2 children died out of that relationship because I was so alone. So I became so driven to share the raw, brutal truth. You can read all these books on, abuse and domestic violence, but you can't read a lot of books that tell you exactly what it's like. Brutality, real and raw. And I talk about all the things that I did wrong too. I left my children after my daughter died. After my son died, then my daughter died. I went out and lived on the streets. And I have to live with that. Colette died from fentanyl poisoning, from all the trauma, all the fucking generational trauma that I'm living. The reason I'm living, besides raising my daughter and my grandkids that are here and everybody that I love, is to stop this fucking generational trauma. I've had enough. I've had enough. My 2 living children are going to continue to live. They're going to. And I'm working so hard to get rid of the fear that that's not real. Especially with conversion disorder. Fuck around, man. You guys can do this. You can change your whole life. Literally. And with money, you got to make sure your relationship with money is healthy. You can't be envious. You can't be jealous, oh, well, they were just born into it, I've spent a lot of my life like that, and that's not going to bring you anything. Positivity, words, language, those will bring you the things that you desire, and those will become what you manifest and believe in. And you can do it. If I can fucking do it, you can do it. And I'm here for you guys. I hope to go live again tonight, and I'll be putting this on my YouTube channel. I'm kind of trying to do awakening for people who are just starting, I've been doing shadow work for several years. but I just want to make it simple, break it down for people, like really all you have to do is this. And you also don't have to get rid of your religion if you're a Christian, am I working now? So I'm an artist. So I have a website. It's MissyLynnArtStudio.com. And I was an advocate. I was a medical assistant at the drug and alcohol facility